Everybody here for a Game Week 32 prep video. I'm trying to build a couple more tools. I'm going to put something in the main sheet for you to take a look at as far as the daily pickup goes, just having to expand a little bit with the new competitions. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then I'll go through Game Week 32 and give you some of the better values. With the new competitions, I built a daily pickup projection tab. This is just today's players without it having the special circumstances of the daily hoops. Straight projection for today's games, giving you Dalton Knecht as your top value today, but of course he's questionable and I think he probably doesn't play since he's in trade transition. So the injury report is important here. Make sure you always look at that. I am working on a way to try to get this into the gallery organizers so that you'll be able to run your own optimals if you like. We're not quite there yet, and I don't have time to do it today. I've just been using my old optimizer to run them today. We'll basically break down the game week here. All right, so Luka's not going to play this weekend. Looks like Monday probably for debut with the Lakers. Jokic still going to be your top MVP play this weekend. Upside of over 80. Nobody else has anywhere close to that. 24.64 for a value on that 62 L10. That's good for Jokic. Go ahead and use him with confidence, of course. SGA, a nice play. Embiid, he's got 2 games this weekend, tonight and on Sunday, so not a back-to-back. I think there's a chance he plays both. Always tough to trust him, but of course, heat index looks good. He looked really good his last time out. Nice 29-point triple-double. Cade looked really good. He's questionable, though. Got to watch these injuries. Durant, questionable. Davis, still questionable. I think he probably debuts this weekend. Nice play here. James Harden, Devin Booker, both in play. Over 20 difference between their L10s and their ceilings. 24 for Karl Anthony Towns. He's a 43. He's been a little cold. I think you can certainly throw him in anytime, though. He's been having such a good year. Steph Curry at 38. Obviously, you can still do it. Put up close to 60 last night in that loss to the Lakers. Now he gets Butler alongside him. I think could be a good pairing. Evan Mobley has been playing really well. 38 L10. He's in play for sure. Trae Young at 37. Almost a 30 difference between that 37 and his projected ceiling, which would be close to 67. We got McCollum at 33. Obviously, New Orleans all banged up. McCollum's kind of having to supply most of the offense, him and Trey Murphy, so I wouldn't hesitate to put McCollum in there. 2 good 31s. Banchero's obviously been pretty bad. We've been using him through his struggles. He hasn't really rewarded us yet, although he did score in the mid-40s yesterday. I think he's got a 60 in there somewhere pretty soon. Jimmy Butler, 31. I think he plays. I know he's questionable this weekend. I'm going to play him. You got to ride that. You got to hope he's really motivated and comes out firing. He should be so fresh right now. He's had 2 or 3 or 4 weeks off. It's been a long time. At 30, you got Naz Reid. Naz Reid's obviously had to step up with Julius Randle going down. I think he's a nice play. 9.71 on the heat index. He's been really good lately. Jared Allen at 28. Yeah, play him. That's a great number for him. Kawhi Leonard, 28. Even Simons at 28. I think any of those guys are nice plays this weekend. Got Michael Porter Jr. He's been exploding lately. 27 L10. I would give him in there. He's just red hot right now. Draymond Green, kind of hard to believe. He's a 27. Doesn't seem like he's any good anymore, but did put up 36 last night, so it's still kind of in there, but his numbers are way down this season. 25, you got Tari Eason. Rockets are a little banged up. Eason, a lot of blocks and steals. Still a good number for him. I think his high end is around 50s. Koulibaly, so the Wizards are trading away all their players. He's probably going to take on a little more of a load right now. 23 L10, still like him a lot. Getting down into the low 20s here. Buddy Hield hits the board. I know it's hard to believe because he's looked so bad for big stretches, but it's still there. He can still score. He can still shoot. He just needs to see a couple go in. Thomas Bryant with Miles Turner going down yesterday probably should get some more run. I think he's a nice play at 20 this weekend. Moussa Diabate, so Charlotte Hornets traded for Nurkic, traded away Mark Williams. Diabate probably gets some decent run. I don't know if Nurkic will be ready for the first game of the weekend. He should at least get 1 game of full minutes. Just not a real talented scorer, unfortunately. But he'll grab you some rebounds, block some shots. Cam Whitmore's been getting a little more run. He's an 18. We got Aaron Gordon in Denver, Nick Smith in Charlotte, Obi Toppin in Indiana. So Toppin might get a little more run with Turner down. And then Aaron Gordon played 31 minutes last night. He was questionable going in. Looks like he must be okay. Didn't do a lot offensively, but 12 rebounds. I think he had like 7 assists, so nice game for Gordon. Buzel has been on fire. He's getting a lot more minutes. The Bulls, all their trades. I think their new guys who they just acquired are all going to be available, so it may cut into his minutes a little bit, but I think they're going to let this guy play. He's looked very good. 37 for a high-end upside on him and 15 L10, so you can certainly play him. Royce O'Neal's a 14. He was a game week winner for a lot of people this last week with a big game. I've got his high end at 36. He obviously was in the 40s last game week, so you can play him at 14 for sure. We got a couple of 12s. Rashawn Holmes is probably out tonight, and same with Dalton X, so I wouldn't use either of these guys this weekend, unfortunately. Jacoby Walters, Toronto's got a lot of guys out today. I think some of their big guys, Mogbo down here too. So at 11, you got Jacoby Walter. Should get a lot more minutes. This guy's been all right. Looked pretty good for a rookie. At an 11, not a whole lot to lose here. I think he can get you into the 30s with a good night. Mogbo, you're just looking for some minutes. He's a 10, high-end upside in the low 30s. Champagne looks like he may miss tonight too. He's doubtful. Late injury report addition. Don't like those guys. I would avoid him. Carlo Matkovic in New Orleans. Interesting player, but he doesn't have a card. So we can't really do anything with him until they give him a card, but he's definitely on the radar right now, getting a lot more time. As far as microcaps go, I don't see a whole lot here. Anthony Gill, maybe today he gets some minutes. He'd be a real late flyer at a 1. Hunter Tyson, I think you can skip. Vukovic in Washington, he's another big, so if Holmes would miss, he's a 6. You take a flyer on him. Devin Carter should be getting a couple more minutes, although he didn't play a lot last game. We've talked about Exum quite a bit and Shepard, but I think both of them are in play. Herder actually, I think, is in play too. All right, so hopefully that helps. I'm going to keep working on all these things. As you make your lineups, just a couple quick things to keep in mind with the new optimizer. To do your gallery update, you'll just go here, you'll hit Get Gallery. It'll download it. It'll put it in the Gallery Update tab. It's in there. It takes a while to get in there with some of the bigger collections. Smaller collections, it shouldn't take too long. You'll get a pop-up that says it's done. You just go back to Gallery Update and say Update Current Game Week, and it will shuffle them back into your main Current Game Week tab. And as it puts them in, it'll populate everything, and then you can run your optimals. So as you run your optimals, obviously you want to be checking them off in the used column. And once you put something in there, when you run your pre-filter the next time, it will exclude that player. You see this 78 here in N2. 78 is the number of eligible players. You want to keep an eye on that. If you're running a champ, just make your top guy mandatory. When you do that, it'll run your optimization much more quickly. And as you're building today, I would encourage you to use this mandatory function that's been added to your optimizer. It just cuts down on the number of combinations that the system has to run through to get you your results, makes it much faster. When you're running a champ lineup, there's really no reason to not use it because the optimizer is always going to pick your top overall available projection. So like for me, for example, it would be Joel Embiid with that 67.9. So if I wanted to run a champ, I would just put mandatory next to him and I'd quick run it. It'll take about 5 seconds. And you know you have a mandatory because it's in yellow. If you try to run a champ without making someone mandatory, you have to cut down the number of players eligible for some reason, and it can't do 80 anymore. It can only do like 72. If you make one mandatory though, it can do way more than 80. So there's a give and take with this. Select a mandatory. It just makes it a lot easier and faster. And then, of course, as you use them, check them off, rerun your pre-filter, and do it again. All right, happy building this week and good luck, and we'll talk to you all soon.